How's it going, guys? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and today I wanted to talk about and discuss the term "it's all in how you raise them" when it comes to dogs. That term is one of the most irritating terms that I have heard in the dog community. It's one that you hear all the time. People will parrot that, especially in regard to bully breeds, and it is extremely harmful to the dogs and to us. So I kind of wanted to discuss that term today and really get into why people should just stop saying that because it's really harmful. So, there are things that you can argue and there are things that you cannot argue. And you cannot argue genetics. I am sorry if you think that you can. I am sorry if you think that as a human you can change a dog's DNA and genetics, but you never will be able to do that. No matter how many times you say it's all in how you raise them, you're never going to change a dog's genetics and their makeup and how their brain works. You can alter it for sure, and you can program it to work how you want it to 99% of the time, but you will never fully, as a human, encapsulate what a dog is made of and be able to control it 100% of the time for its entire life. So that term, "it's all in how you raise them," really bothers me because I feel like that's a great way to make someone feel like they did not do things properly raising a dog. That is a great way of turning people away from doing things a certain way. It's just like, and it's not even true. It's really not. So let's take like a Labrador Retriever, for example. If I asked you, or the general public probably, what do you think a Labrador Retriever's favorite thing to do is? Most people would probably say, oh, they love to fetch, or, oh, they love to swim. Why? Because the Labrador Retriever was bred to retrieve game from the water. That's its genetic buildup. That's its makeup. The Labrador Retriever is known to love swimming in cold waters and retrieve game, birds, from the water, right? So it would be really silly for a person to think that they can raise a Labrador Retriever and it's all in how you raise them and make the dog not want to swim and fetch. Now, yes, you will always get these one-off dogs that don't have as high of an interest in those activities, right? But generally speaking, that's what the Labrador Retriever was bred for. Just like a Border Collie, if I were to ask you, what was a Border Collie bred to do? What do its genetics tell it to do? Well, if you know anything about Border Collies, you would say, oh, they were bred to herd sheep. They are a herding breed, and that's what they like to do. So generally, they like to herd things. That's why Border Collies and herding breeds tend to nip at your ankles, or they will herd children, or anything that moves, really, they kind of want to herd it, right? Now, you obviously will have some one-off dogs that have no interest, but generally speaking, that's what the breed was bred for. And Huskies were bred to pull sleds. And they like the cold. They like wintertime, right? They like the snow. They like to be outside in colder temperatures because that's what their genetic makeup tells them they enjoy and what they're built for. So it'd be really silly to be like, well, it's all in how you raise them. Like, my Husky doesn't like the snow. My Husky only likes hot temperatures because that's how I raise them. That would be like the silliest thing to say. So that term, I have always advocated for not saying that term. Because some people, I have met so many people that have raised their dogs perfectly. They socialized them correctly, they fed them correctly, they trained them correctly, they did everything correctly. And then they come to me and they're like, I'm battling this issue with dog aggression, or I'm battling this issue with reactivity, or I'm battling this issue with destructive behavior, and I did everything right. I raised this dog correctly. Why is it still doing this? And if I were like, well, it's all in how you raise them, you still must have fucked up. That's just a terrible thing to say to someone because it's not true. Genetics will always win. Nature will always win. We as humans will never have 100% control over an animal. Even if you think you do, you can think that if you would like. I will disagree. I will politely disagree that you will have 100% control over your animal just because it's all in how you raise them. I don't whether you think you imprinted on the animal or you who knows what, it just you're never going to have 100%. 99 maybe, 100 it's never going to happen. And you may be able to avoid everything that you have wanted to avoid for the dog's whole life. You still will not convince me that it was because you had 100% control over that dog. You may have just gotten lucky and never had any bad experiences. But I will never believe that you had 100% control over a different species. And that's just how it is. So it's a really poor habit to get into telling them that it's all in how you raise an animal because people can do it 100% right and genetics will still win. So that's something that I think people should think about when they're looking into specific breeds and stuff like that. I think it's dangerous to tell somebody that they could handle like a working breed, for instance, if they do not live a working life. Like, I think it would be very dangerous to tell somebody, let's make a pretend situation. Let's say that we have a young mother with small children living in an apartment, a single young mother, and let's say she's got like a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I think it would be borderline dangerous to support her idea of getting a Belgian Malinois from a backyard breeder with no genetic testing, no hips done, no temperament control, no nothing. I think it would be very dangerous to support her in wanting to get a backyard bred Belgian Malinois and tell her, well, it should be fine because it's all in how you raise them. That, to me, sounds like a dangerous situation. If she was uneducated and she came to you and was like, I think I want to, get this 7-week-old Belgian Malinois puppy from my friends, there's no health testing, the mom and dad seem a little aggressive, but they told me it's all in how you raise them, so I think I'll do it. That sounds dangerous to me because there is a very likely chance that that dog could inherit the uncontrolled aggression and reactivity and some weird quirks, especially if there was no effort put into creating a clean line of those dogs. So, and especially when it comes to rescue dogs, guys, oh my goodness. You can't keep saying it's all in how you raise them. I have 4 rescue dogs right now. And I will tell you right now, especially with Kane, I knew his genetic makeup before I even DNA tested him. Because of the behaviors he was showing me. Now, he got a very controlled, proper upbringing. He was never around any dog fights or anything. He was not socialized with dogs that had improper behavior. His siblings are very good to him. Any other interactions that he had growing up with dogs were correct. I did not feed into his behaviors of wanting to do things excessively like fetch and stuff like that. Like he's allowed to play fetch and he gets proper exercise and stuff, but basically he had a very controlled, in a good way, upbringing. I was very educated in raising Kane. But even with that, the behaviors that he presented from a very early age, I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that he had German Shepherd in him, that he had Labrador Retriever in him, and that he had some type of other herding breed. Because he's a very small dog, so I was like, there's no way that he has only German Shepherd and Lab. He's got to have something that condensed his size. And sure enough, he had a large amount of Australian cattle dog. And I DNA tested him, and I literally knew what his genetic makeup was before I even tested him because of the behaviors that he showed. He is obsessed with swimming. I cannot get that dog out of the water. I have to go in there and drag him out. He's such a water baby. He will he will sit in the water and just watch the trees blowing. Like, he is obsessed with water. He is obsessed with fetching. That dog could fetch for 8 hours straight. Like, he loves to retrieve so much, and he loves to herd, and he loves to work. And you know, I didn't want him to be neurotic about it, so I didn't do it with him every time that he wanted to when he was a baby. Like, every time that he asked to do work and asked to fetch, I did not give in because I wanted it to be on my terms. He's not going to be telling me when and where we're doing things. And even with that controlled upbringing, he is still absolutely obsessed with fetching and swimming and retrieving and stuff. Like it did not dampen his genetics in the slightest. Whenever he gets a chance to do any of that, he is 110% passionate about it. He's such a fantastic working dog. And it just goes to show you cannot control genetics. You can really rein them in and have a very high level of control over your dog, but genetics will always win. And I do think a lot of people mean well when they say it's all in how you raise them. I think it's a term that probably had a good origin of sense, but it has been so parroted throughout the years that people just, that's their immediate response to others. Like, when people are having trouble raising a dog, they're like, well, it's all in how you raise them. Or if they have an adult dog that has issues, other people will be like, well, it's all in how you raise them. You must have done something wrong. You know, it's all in how you raise them. You got to start early. You got to do this, 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 and this. And that would have fixed your dog, but it's all in how you raise them. So I'm sorry that your dog is reactive now because, you know, you probably didn't do the proper socialization practices. So just, it's something that I wanted to kind of state on my channel for the people that, I don't have a ton of people that watch for dog content right now. It's something that I hope to expand in the future, but I did want to make a very distinct video stating my stance on that coined term because I do not believe in it whatsoever. I think that we can very much give our dogs building blocks to be a confident, humble, correct dog 99% of the time, but it's really dangerous to have 100% confidence in your dog because we will never have the power to conquer nature, ever. That is not our job as humans. It is not our job to conquer and completely control other things in this life, including dogs or cats or horses or weather or anything. You know, it's a dangerous mindset to be in, that we can do anything in this world, because we cannot. I think it's really important to stay humble and logical, and it's a great idea to work toward building a correct dog and putting in 110% effort into building a correct dog, but just always remember to be careful and not be overly confident, because you will never, ever have 100% control over a dog that, in the grand scheme of things, has been domesticated for a finger snap of time in the lineup. Like, if you look at the history of the dog and how long it's been domesticated, it is a finger snap of time in comparison to how long they have existed. So super dangerous to tell people that they can work magic and defeat genetics and DNA buildup, you know, because of having the mindset of it's all in how you raise them. Hopefully that is educational for some of you guys. Like I said, there's not a ton of people watching these videos right now, but I hope that at some point they get a little more popular and that people are fueled to want to train their dogs correctly, raise them correctly, socialize them correctly, let them be dogs, and you know, put effort into creating a stable dog, but just don't go overboard with the all and how you raise them thing. That's kind of my main goal here. And yeah, I'm gonna make more videos on raw feeding and other dog stuff, but I just wanted to give my stance on this subject because I don't want people thinking that I'm one of those dog owners that is going to tell you that you did things wrong because it's all in how you raise them, I guess. So that's my stance on the whole thing. But yeah, guys, socialize your dogs. Start early with them. You know, get them into training classes if you don't know how to do it yourself. Bond with your dog. Spend one-on-one time with your dog. You will be able to have a large amount of control over your dog if you have a bond with them and if you work with them and if you build a relationship with them. 100%. I am not saying that you shouldn't do that, you know. That is the most important thing, is your dog looks to you for everything. Your dog, no matter how grumpy you are when you get home, your dog will still be your biggest fan. And all they want is to spend time with you. That's all your dog wants, is just to be with you. So definitely set up a foundation of success for your dog and give them everything that they need, and that's when you will have the most control over your dog. It's really important. So I will see you guys on the next video. I hope you have a great day. I hope you get out and, you know, get to spend time with your dog if you have one. I will see you guys on the next video, and I love you all very, very much. See you soon.